Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. We've made some adjustments here on set. We have qualified. We're ready for the holiday season. It's fast approaching. Can't believe it. We put up our Christmas trees around the building, so
everyone's really getting into it today for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Very festive. Well, we have a great show for you, as always. And today's question of the day as Calgarians head to the polls to vote on the 2026 Olympic bid. That was our question of the day. Would you like to see the games go to Calgary? I personally would love it. I'm a huge fan of the Olympic Games. I would love to see it, and Calgary's so close. I regret not going to the ones in Vancouver, so I think it would be really great. It's obviously a huge cost, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think definitely more people would want to go. So yeah, if it's close to home, you might as well take in the advantage of it. But I can definitely see why Calgarians are a little concerned about the whole cost of everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
let us know your thoughts. You still have time to weigh in before we get into the deep discussion of the question of the day. But right now, we're going to toss it over to our Brett Holden.
I'm here at the Veterans Gallery at the Lashburn Centennial Museum. It is the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. And here at the gallery, they do have artifacts from the wars like the Boer War to World War I to the Korean War as well. And we are going to learn about some of the stories that some of the veterans had to go through while in the war. But first, we're going to head back into the studio and see what's going on with them.
And a home in Belfort is expected to be a total loss after a fire yesterday afternoon. Emergency crews arrived at the home on First Ave and 28th Street around 1 p.m. The fire started on the ground mechanical room, then spread to the second floor and attic. Due to the origin of the fire, Fire Chief Larry Gabruch said that they were not able to directly extinguish the flames and took to a defensive exterior approach. No one was injured in the blaze and no neighboring homes were affected. And two types of medications are seeing a shortage across Saskatchewan, including right here in the border city. A vaccine for hepatitis A and B called Twinrex and an antidepressant called Wellbutrin are on back order for many pharmacies. Twinrex is often used before traveling, while Wellbutrin is used for more consistently by patients experiencing depression.
Drug shortages can occur. There may be problems obtaining the raw material, which may not be readily available. It may be things to do with regulations at times.
Malik couldn't say a particular reason behind these drug shortages, but mentions it's becoming a trend among both brand name and generic drugs. Malik suggests that patients having trouble obtaining their medication should contact their healthcare provider for an alternative solution. And the Canadian Roots Rural Youth Reconciliation Initiative has chosen Lloydminster to get involved with their project. Starting back in 2014, this initiative gives more rural communities a chance to get involved with a national initiative, and the goal is to improve regulations, educate, and create awareness for the history of Indigenous people.
It's because of the reconciliation work that has been done through the Heart of Treaty 6 reconciliation group, and it's been recognized by some of the organizations such as OTC, Office of the Treaty Commissioner, and Canadian Roots Exchange.
A few members from the community will be selected to go to Montreal in February to be trained for presentations and public speaking. You can apply for this if you're between the ages of 18 and 29, and there is an application on the Canadian Roots website. And now we're going to send it to Brett Holden, who is at the Lashburn Museum.
I'm here with Kathy Berg, and we're going to talk about kind of the humble beginnings of this place here. Can you just kind of talk about the beginnings of this place and what the importance of having this here is?
Well, the beginnings were back in 1999. A teacher who many years earlier was starting her teaching career when her contemporaries were going off to war. And as she was nearing her retirement from teaching, she wanted to recognize those from Lashburn who had served in the wars. And a few months later, with total support of the board, everybody came alongside and worked hard, and a room was set up in the museum itself across the street. and that was how it started. Within a few months, she had, as she liked to say, framed 200 veterans.
So really quickly, just having some of the local flair in here as well, I guess. When you see different things come into this place, what does it mean to have those extra kind of, I guess, artifacts?
Well, it all helps to tell the story. It's all about the story, and having that local connection is very cool. People are eager to come in and see their uncle, their grandfather, and people whose names they still recognize as being current names in town.
Beautiful. So we'll be back in a little bit, checking out some of those local artifacts, but first we're going to head back right into the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Currently sitting at -1 here in the border city. We were at a daytime high of 3 degrees earlier. So felt really nice as we had the Chinook winds blow in from down south over east to us, but unfortunately those temperatures are not going to stick around. As we look to the satellite radar, just some cloud cover moving in from the west. We did see some sunshine, which was a great change of pace. As we look to the watches and warnings, none currently in effect, which is a great sign, as we could be seeing some snow later on this week. Current temperatures across the map, -1 here in the border city, and as you can see, even warmer as we move out west, and that is due to the Chinook winds there. So 5 degrees in Edmonton, 6 degrees in Red Deer, 10 degrees in Rocky Mountain House, 3 degrees in Jasper, 4 in Whitecourt, and also 4 in Athabasca. As we move up north, a little bit cooler into the negatives here. So -2 for Cold Lake, -5 for Meadow Lake, -7 in Prince Albert, and -6 for Melfort, and -1 currently in Saskatoon. As we look to the numbers across the broadcast region, currently for North Battleford, -3 right now, dipping down to -6 overnight, and then tomorrow a daytime high of 3 degrees. A little bit more cloud cover than we were seeing today. Cold Lake currently -2. Overnight, there's a 30% chance we could see some snow action, and because we are going to be above the freezing mark tomorrow, that could mean some freezing rain. So do be cautious onto the morning commute. For Lloydminster, currently at -1, -3 overnight, 3 degrees tomorrow. And we do also have a 30% chance we could see some flurries this evening, carrying into Wednesday morning. But tomorrow we will be above the freezing mark. 3 degrees there, -3 for the low. Thursday, 64% chance we could see some precipitation, some more flurry action. -2 there, so we are going to cool back down. And then Friday, that is those numbers are wrong. Actually, -12 there, and then -16. I'll have more details for you coming up a little bit later in the show.
Welcome back. Well, since 2015, the solar industry in Alberta has grown by nearly 500%. The NDP say it's a massive jump that's helping to diversify our economy. And as Sarah Krause reports, those numbers are likely to rise even higher with continued government incentives.
Hank Bestman had been thinking about going solar for years. The provincial rebates gave him the incentive he needed last December.
The cost of installation was around $20,000, and we got $4,000, a bit over $4,000 back in a rebate. So it's about a $16,000 investment.
Between his south and east-facing rooftops, he had 20 panels installed.
And in July, it worked really well for us. We were getting a very high amount. We were hardly using any energy from the grid. So, matter of fact, our bill was negative. Our combined gas and electricity bill was negative.
Bestman has no regrets.
I think it's an investment in the future that you make, and we're quite concerned about our carbon footprint. So this is one way we can eliminate that or minimize that.
His home is one of 3,100 solar installations across the province since 2015. 300 of those are businesses. That's increased our solar capacity from 6 megawatts to 35. Evansdale Community League is helping contribute to that.
For the first installation, half the roof was finished with solar panels, and it knocked half the bill off for the electricity. So we decided that we would go as fast as we possibly could for the second half.
They generate enough power that they don't have an electric bill anymore. It used to be about $1,000 a month.
We can use that money that we normally use to pay the bills for more or better programs.
There's more jobs in solar now to meet demand. Gordon Howell credits that to government leadership, a drop in costs, and shifting perspectives.
People are now coming to us and saying, I want it. They're not saying, oh, well, what's it, how cost effective is it, or what's the payback? Some people even say to me, I want to look my grandkids in the eye and say that at least I tried.
To keep the momentum going, Alberta is increasing its rebate incentives, 15% for homes and 25% for nonprofits. Sarah Kraus, Global News.
That's it for Ag News. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at those egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Welcome back. Well, the Lloydminster Bobcats introduced a new head coach and general manager Nigel Dubé this afternoon. This comes after the departure of Travis Clayton last week. Dubé spent the past season as an assistant with the Camrose Kodiaks and 4 seasons before that in North Dakota with the Minot Minotauros of the North American Hockey League. He's excited for the opportunity to be a head coach.
Things are going to happen throughout life, not only in the game of hockey, where you have to adjust quickly, you have to make the most of it all, and to come in here with some energy and have the energy that's around here spread is a positive, and we'll take it in stride day by day.
Dubé says one of the first priorities when it comes to implementing systems is tightening defensive formation.
Defensive mindset's going to be the first one. I've been heavily involved the last 2 years on the PK side of things, on the defensive side of things, and we're going to shore that up. I think that's a big one that we'll hit on now.
The new coach held his first practice with the team this morning. And going through so many changes in 1 week isn't something the Bobcats players were prepared for, but must adjust to quickly to turn this season around. And in this week's Beyond the Boards, Josh Ryan looks at how the players are dealing with losing a mentor and gaining another one.
The mood on Saturday in the Bobcats locker room was dour, and it had less to do with the 4-1 loss to the Olds Grizzlies than coming to grips with the departure of head coach Travis Clayton.
It's tough for sure to get to know a guy so well, and he gave a lot to this team and this organization, and thank him for that, and he's the reason a lot of us are here. So, but yeah, it is tough.
I'm not going to lie, for sure. Obviously, I'm still a little bit shocked about it, and but you know, it's part of the business sometimes. You know, when you're not winning, something has to change.
Clayton's third season behind the bench got off to another slow start, with the Bobcats sporting the worst record in the North Division. Despite the lack of success, the players weren't ready for the loss of a mentor.
Sad to see him go. You know, he's the one that gave me the chance, and you know, the one that's been by my side, Travis, obviously, and you know, it hurts to see him go.
He was the guy that gave me a chance to play junior hockey, which I don't take for granted at all, and he believed in me the whole time I was here. So I only can thank him for all that.
The adjustment must come swiftly as the squad is back in action at the Civic tomorrow evening, followed by a road trip this weekend.
We got to move past it now as a team and start looking forward.
Now it's on us, so we got to get it together here and play as a team and put together some wins for this community and for this organization.
Obviously, we're not where we want to be, and we're just gonna come to practice, keep working, and we'll find it. The bounces will come. So.
And while growing pains are inevitable, the intensity of their first practices under new coach Nigel Dubé should help them focus past an emotional week.
We've had 3 or 4 coaches in the last week go through here, temporary guys, but I think now we got a solid guy, and I think he's extremely motivated, and I think the guys in the room are ready to follow him.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
Beyond the Boards is brought to you by City Centre Auto Body. At City Centre Auto Body, they can fix anything, now on both sides of the border.
And now we're going to send it to Brett Holden, who is at the Lashburn Museum.
And we're back here with Kathy Burke. And Kathy, we're going to look at some of the artifacts that you have here. And in your hand, you have a very special piece. Can you talk about this?
It is called a dead man's penny or a death penny. And it was given by the British government to the families who had lost somebody in the war. And engraved on it is the veteran's name. And there is a lot of, there's pictures with a lot of symbolism on it. It would be quite a keepsake for the family.
Absolutely, and just right next to you here, there's kind of a story behind this one. Could you kind of tell that story?
Our soldier was experiencing a lot of shelling, and they thought that they would jump to safety, so they jumped into a hole made by a shell, and lo and behold, another shell came into the very same hole where he was hiding, and it blew off both his legs. The mercy was that it was a cold, wet night, and he was able to use the mud to cover his stumps so that he didn't bleed to death before he got safe.
That's amazing. And this past Remembrance Day was the anniversary, 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. And really quickly, let's talk about some of the artifacts that you have at the front of the museum as well.
One of our shelves in the display cabinet has artifacts from prisoner of war camps. A number of our soldiers were in prisoner of war camps, and one of the artifacts, or two of them, are called prison art, and they're wood carvings of, one is an ambulance, the other is a jeep, carved by one of our soldiers while he was staying in a prison camp.
Wonderful. Well, we'll be back in a little bit, but first let's head back to the studio and see what's going on with them.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Starting off with this shot from where Brett is today, the museum in Lashburn. Gorgeous shot. I'm just going to step out quickly. Look at that. We got some sunshine and blue skies, which was a nice change of pace. As we look to the numbers across the region, currently sitting at -1 here in the border city. We did reach 3 degrees earlier, which is a nice change up from the frigid cold temperatures we were seeing last week and in previous weeks. So 0 degrees in Vermilion, currently 0 also in Vegreville. Look at that, 5 degrees currently still in Edmonton. As we move up the map, a little bit cooler. So -1 for St. Paul, also in Bonnyville, -1 in Lac La Biche, -2 in Cold Lake, -2 also in Pierceland. As we move even further there, a little bit cooler as we move into Saskatchewan, so -2 for Maidstone, -3 for North Battleford, but still as we look down south, still in the positives at 3 degrees in Provost and Macklin. As we look up north, rather, sitting at -7 for Buffalo Narrows, also in La Loche, and La Ronge also sitting at -9 there. So as we move up the map, a little bit cooler as we are seeing the Chinook winds come from the south, which is why we are seeing these temperatures above the freezing mark in our area and over to the southwest. -1 for Slave Lake, 1 degree in Peace River, and -1 currently in Grand Prairie. As we look down south, though, there you can see definitely affected by those Chinook winds. They are sitting at all above the freezing mark here still. So 6 degrees in Lethbridge, 5 for Medicine Hat, 12 degrees in Calgary, and then Banff sitting at -1. A little bit cooler as we move into the Saskatchewan side. 3 degrees for Swift Current, 3 degrees in Moose Jaw, and -1 currently in Regina. As we look to our numbers tomorrow, we are going to warm back up, but only for the next couple of days. So 3 degrees tomorrow for us here in Lloydminster, 3 for Vermilion, a little bit warmer as we move out west, so 5 degrees for Vegreville and Edmonton. And as we move up the map, St. Paul sitting at 3 degrees tomorrow, 4 for Bonnyville, 4 for Cold Lake, 5 degrees for Pierceland, and over as we move down south, 3 degrees for Maidstone, 7 degrees in Macklin, and 3 degrees for North Battleford. Just want to bring up our snow accumulation map for the next few days. We do have a 30% chance we could see some flurries overnight here and as well as in the Cold Lake area. And then, but we really aren't going to see too much. We do have a possibility we could see some snow on Thursday and Friday, but nothing major like we were seeing over the last week, especially on Friday. So 2 degrees tomorrow at 8 a.m., recess time 3 degrees, and that's going to stay there over the lunch hour. And then a little bit cooler at 2 degrees, but we will see some more sunshine when the kids head home. Looking at our 7-day trend, so 3 degrees tomorrow, -3 overnight, and we could see some snow starting tonight, continuing into the morning, and then we could see that again Wednesday into Thursday. So -2 on Thursday, that's when we start to cool down, -3, and then Friday is when we really start to get much cooler into those seasonal numbers. So -12, -16 for the low. As we move into the weekend, -7, -18. quite cool. And then Sunday, we could see some more precipitation. Nothing too major like we were seeing in previous weeks. So -5, -14 there. And then Monday, -1, so we are warming back up. And then -2 next Tuesday.
And now we're going to check in with Brett Holden, who is at the Lashburn Museum.
And I'm back with Kathy Berg. And Kathy, let's kind of talk about a little bit more of the Lashburn connection to the war and this exhibit here. Everything here is from somebody from Lashburn, is that correct?
Almost. There's a little bit of the surrounding area as well. Just last summer, we received a number of artifacts from Bev and George Henry, they were from Lloydminster, but they had been in the militia, and so some of our newer artifacts are from them. But for the most part, they're from Lashburn. A few, we got the honor roll from Waseca, so we have some of those names on our shelves as well. But it's people that everybody knows.
So when it comes to just having some of these artifacts, and maybe some people who do have some things at their own house as well, maybe they want to give it here, would that be an option for somebody as well?
It could be. It could be. Depending on what it was, definitely a record of service. We'd be only too glad to include them. We have to watch as far as too many duplicates of some things. But basically, we would love to see everybody who served from this area represented in here.
So when it kind of comes to seeing the stuff that comes in through the door, and when people walk in and see what you guys have up, what does it mean, I guess, to you?
It means a lot. Sunday, we had an open house following the Remembrance Day service, and it was really heartwarming, I guess, encouraging to us to have as many come through as there was. And yeah, it's like I said, it's all about the story, it's about the community connection, and if people don't come to see it, you need an audience for a story.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. Let's head back to the studio and see what's going on with them there.
All right, well, Calgarians headed to the polls today to vote on whether or not they would support a 2026 Winter Game Olympic bid. So that was our question of the day. Would you like to see the games go to Calgary? We did put out a poll. 58% of you say yes, 31% of you say no, and 11% say don't really care. So I think you and I are kind of on the same page. We're kind of for it.
Yeah, I think, well, with it being so close to Edmonton, I think it just makes it a fun way to be able to be involved. If you wanted to go down and take part, like, that would just make it so much easier. But again, we're in the city that's not paying for it, right? So I can see why they're hesitant.
Exactly.
Right now.
But even if you're not from Calgary, if you are living in Alberta, your federal as well as your provincial taxes will go to support it. So I want to read a couple of the comments we got on our Facebook page. Leanne says, yes, of course, they benefited from the 88 games with the well use of their facilities afterwards. They just need to build 2 new facilities and renovate the existing. So that's a good one. But also Martha commented saying, no, it's a horrible expense and benefits only very few. Even the facilities that get built are only for the rich. It's bread, not circuses. So it's definitely, when you look at the state of the economy, I can understand why people aren't for it, but I'm a big lover of the game. So I would like to see them be brought here to the province. So let us know your thoughts. You still have time to weigh in on this conversation, but right now we're going to look at our pets of the day because it's the best part of the day. Look at this. This is Velcro. Velcro's super cute. That was sent to us by Bev. Thank you for sending that one in. Next up, we have Kinley. Kinley has a nicer bed than I do. That is very nice. That was sent to us by Tracy. Very cute. Next up, we have Coda. Coda is on a bike ride there. Look at, I love his little
The
goggles.
yeah,
So
kill me.
cute.
So cute.
So cute. That was sent to us by James. Thank you for sending that one in. Look at Hank.
Oh, sweet
and at
face.
first, we both thought that Hank was wearing this hat, but it looks like it's to be a person behind there.
Yeah.
So that was sent to us by Ashley. And last but not least, look at this little duo, Scooter and Cruz, and that was sent to us by Tara, rather. So if you have a pet and you would like to see them here on Primetime Local News, send us a photo. Please include their name, and if you do see them, your name will be put into a draw for a $50 gift card to the Lloydminster Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
All right, I am once again joined with, by Becca from the SPCA and these two adorable little kittens. We always love Tuesdays around here. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this week's pet project. Let's start with these two adorable siblings that you have brought in. We'll start with the one that you're holding. They are now currently the longest residents at the SPCA.
Yeah, this is Espion and Lapras, and yep, they've been in our care for 50 days now, so kind of around the end of August they came in. So yeah, and they kind of flew under the radar at our fall feline frenzy, so we're just hoping to kind of get them seen now on TV and get them their new forever homes.
Nice. And you were saying they came from a group of, there were 7 of them, and
seven
these are the
altogether.
only 2 left. Oh, that one, he's a little shy there. And then I have Lapras, and this is a girl, right?
Yeah, they're both females, yeah.
Oh, they're both females, perfect. And this one's a little fluffier, but they are both very tiny.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Espion here seems to have grown a little bit more so than Lapras there, but Lapras was a bit of the runt of the crew, so she's got a little more growing left to do. But yeah, Lapras is good and big and healthy here, and siblings is trying to keep up.
Yeah, and what can you tell me about these cats? They do obviously well with other cats at the SPCA?
Yeah, so far, I mean, obviously they're okay with each other kind of thing. They're about 4.5 months old. Again, same thing too. They're spayed, ready to go, vaccinated, microchip, the whole works. And yeah, like you can kind of see they are a little bit shy, a little camera shy as well too, but they're really nice kitties, and I think they would be good little couch loungers. And
I mean, come on, how could you not want this little girl? Oh, she is so cute. So you kind of briefly mentioned the Fall Feline Frenzy, so that is over now, and you guys had the adoption event over the weekend as well. So how did that go for the month?
Oh, good. Yeah. So the Fall Feline Frenzy, we did 34 adoptions altogether. So I think it was about 24 kittens and 11 adults. And then our adoption weekend actually this weekend at PetSmart was really successful as well too. We found 4 of our kitties some new forever homes as well too. So yeah, so it was a really successful weekend there.
Awesome.
As well
And this weekend coming up, you won't have any animals, but you guys will be at the Christmas Craft Fair. So if anyone is inquiring, they can come out. But you guys don't want to bring any animals because it tends to stress them out,
It gets
right?
a little stressful for them. Yeah, it's just a lot of people to. It's a lot for people to even deal with all those people that like to go. But yeah, it's a good event for us to get out there and get our name out there and chat with anybody that has any questions for us.
Oh, great. And currently at the SPCA, you guys are doing okay for cats. It's not, you guys aren't at full capacity, and you also have some dogs right now.
Yeah, we're actually pretty full on our dogs right now too, but what we have are special consideration list as well too. So people that come in and see our dogs that are up for viewing, they can put their name on there. So I think pretty much every single one of our dogs has someone waiting on them. So we just have to get them through with their spay neuters and hopefully get them out and into their new homes right away.
Right. Well, if you guys are looking for a new addition to your family, just in time for the holidays too, these guys are up for adoption, and or there's always other ones at the SPCA, and you can always check online for those. Want to thank you so much for coming in. We always enjoyed. Everyone in the office always comes and says hello. So thanks so much, Becca. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Pet Project is brought to you by Quick Pick Waste Disposal, Lloydminster's #1 waste and recycling hauler. Quick Pick is waste collection you can depend on.
I'm Courtney Ray from 93.7 Wayne FM and Boom 101.9, and here's what's happening in the Wainwright area. On November 22nd, the annual Jingle and Mingle will be going on downtown Wainwright. That's right, the kickoff to the Christmas season. The big Christmas tree light up will be going on at 5 p.m. The Wainwright Library will be serving up beef on a bun, and there will even be some hot chocolate to help keep us warm. And new this year, a Santa Claus parade. You won't want to miss this special night to get festive. The annual Wainwright Snowball Craft and Trade Show, in conjunction with Communities in Bloom, will be hosted once again at the Wainwright Communiplex. Shop over 47 local vendors on Friday, November 23rd from 4 to 8 p.m. and on Saturday, November 24th from 10 to 4. Admission is free for this holiday shopping event. The Wainwright Quota Club presents an angel art extravaganza with beautiful angel art pieces on display and even some to purchase. Santa will even be there, so feel free to bring your camera and get pictures with him. That's going on at the Prairie Rose Hall on November 30th from 4 to 9 and December 1st from 10 to 5. If you have an event you would like us to feature on what's happening in Wainwright, please get in touch with us at waynefm@newcap.ca.
We are joined again by Chantel Bisson, and Chantel, going to get right into it today, talking about kids and their families in particular, and the cost of activities. This is something that it doesn't matter where you live. It happens, smaller towns, bigger cities. There are certain families who can afford all the activities their kids that want to be in, others that just don't have the means to do that. So I'm just looking for your perspective on this. How, as a family, as a mother and father, or a single dad or single mom, how do you handle all the activities your kids want to be in if you can't financially afford it?
Yeah, this is always so tricky, right? I mean, because as parents, our goal when we have children is usually we all have the same mission, is that we want our kids to have a better life than we did, that we want them to have more than we have. We don't want them to suffer or struggle the way that we did. So when you find yourself as a parent in that role, in that place where you're like, oh no, wow, my daughter really loves this activity, and I've done the numbers, I've crunched the numbers, and I just can't make it happen. It's very difficult and hard on a parent to have to look at their child and say, no, I can't, or no, I'm unable to right now for you. I grew up with a single mom, so I'm very, very aware of what it takes to allow a child to have an extracurricular activity, which is so very important for them. It's good for their self-esteem. It's good for team building skills. It's good for confidence. It teaches them discipline. I mean, the reasons why children being involved in a team sport or an extracurricular activity are important are tenfold. I mean, we could go on about those all day. But the reality is that not everybody can afford to give their kid the activity that they want. And so then what do you do? The cool thing is most places, and even specifically in small towns, I've noticed that the community centers really offer up a lot of programs that are free or have a very minimal cost attached to them.
Right.
So I think it's just, we talked earlier about social media and online and how it's basically from the devil. But, there is that beautiful side to the internet and the World Wide Web where we can go and we can really research and find out, okay, well, where in my community are these activities available to us for a minimal cost or actually no cost that are part of my taxes?
And now, how do you tell your kids to deal with friends who may get to be in all their activities that they can't? There's that, it may not even be a jealousy, but more of even just a sadness because friends that they hang out with all the time are now playing hockey on weekends, or they're going to soccer tournaments, and then, your children can't because of a financial situation. How do you kind of explain that and get that through to them? Because especially at a younger age, I don't really think they understand the financial aspects of certain things.
Well, they don't, right? And the other side to that is there's no point really dumping that on them or sharing that with them, because even though you can communicate that to them, doesn't necessarily mean they're still going to understand the gravity of it, right? I mean, they're not paying bills. They don't know what it means. I don't have enough money. I mean, they understand it in theory, but they don't understand it in reality of what does that actually mean until they become older. So it's really delicate and difficult to really communicate to your child why this is so, why, Johnny gets to go and he's on soccer and he plays hockey and, you know, he gets to travel for his sports. And meanwhile, you know, you're lucky if your son can do recreational hockey. You know, we've been in that situation with our girls when Yannick was out of work, and as a stay-at-home mom, we just couldn't afford activities. And I think those are the times where you just have to share your heart and let them know that you're also disappointed and you're upset that it is this way. But, you know, let's find something else for you that right now we can afford that you do like. So let's put our brains together and let's come up with something. And, you know, there's nothing to, you know, a lot, kids get a lot out of just being busy and active. So even if you take them cross country skiing or hiking in the woods, you know, just being outside and being active will do a lot for them, even if they're not able to participate in an actual organized sport with their friends.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Chantel. And once again, we direct people back to Chantel's social media for more information on this at Chantel Bisson and chantelbisson.com. Thank you so much. Next hour, Chantel, we're back, this time talking about relationships.